So this is going to be basically a special sort of an episode. I'm not going to be buying anything or whatever, but I'm just going to be talking about investments in general. Okay, and again, it's not financial advice. I'm just telling you like how I go about doing this. If you want to do it, go ahead. You don't want to do it, you don't have to. But anyways, so traditionally, what would happen is if if you had, say, you're a high net worth person and you needed somebody to manage your money, you'd go to like an investment council sort of a company. Like there's people like on this website right here. Um like you have this team of professionals. Okay, all these people, I don't know them or anything, but I'm just generally speaking because I've been in the industry, so on and so forth. These people are usually highly educated, they've moved through the ranks, so on and so forth. Like they know what they're doing. So let's just say, for instance, again, your high net worth, because you got to worry about things like inflation, currency fluctuations, obviously what investments are going to go up, which investments are going to go down. So what they do is they hand the money over to these people, and they put together a portfolio for you, and they charge you a fee and so on and so forth. So it's to mitigate risk. It's to obviously to increase uh, the portfolio value. They manage your money. So, anyways, but again, we're living in pretty incredible times, I think. But with all these incredible things that are going on right now, you have to learn how to use the tools that are at your disposal. Okay. And I always use the example, it's like a Formula One race car. If you gave, if you put a kid behind the wheel of a Formula One race car and you said, okay, take it out, kid will probably get killed or seriously injured. Something bad would definitely happen. It's too much car for that kid if you're inexperienced. You put a car like that behind somebody who's an amazing driver, they can win a race. They can, make all kinds of money doing that, but you have to know how to handle it. So what I'm leading up to is that we have access to all these information, like just something as simple as YouTube, right? That you can listen to people who are like highly skilled technical analysts, economists, all this sort of thing. And the other thing you have to realize, like if you're going to put together your own portfolio, think of it as you're like a CEO, okay? And you're going to appoint advisors like for something like economics, technical analysis. Those are probably the two main ones you want to concern yourself with. That's where you want to get your information from. And basically, you can eliminate all these people. Like you don't need these people. Like if you look at all these people, like managing director, fundamental equities, chief strategist, senior principal private equity, senior portfolio manager, active asset allocation, senior manager director, total portfolio and capital markets, senior portfolio manager, global credit, so on and so forth. All these people have these roles, right? But these people come with a huge cost. Okay. And like I said, you don't need these people. You can go on, like I was saying, you go onto YouTube, and like that one person I was watching just the other day, this guy here, this Crypto Crew University, this guy, I've been watching him. This guy's really good. So what you do is go through a bunch of these people. Like again, this is where you're going to have to do your research. Basically, you're going to hire this guy as your technical analyst just by subscribing to him. So get rid of the guys that don't like that are speaking nonsense. Get rid of them. But subscribe to the guys that are, knowledgeable. So I would appoint this guy as one of my technical analysts, and I'd probably have I'd probably want at least two technical analysts, just so you can have two different points of view, right? And I would probably get maybe this crypto capital venture person. Like he's okay, he's pretty good. Um, but again, I'll definitely appoint this guy as a technical analyst, and I'll probably get another one. So I'm gonna analyze them. But once you have them, okay, listen to what they say, and measure them. Like get an Excel spreadsheet and go by what they're saying and measure their performance to see if they're actually any good. Because that's what a CEO does. What a CEO does is they appoint certain people, then they measure their results. And if you can't live up to what you're saying, they let you go. They fire you, right? So, you know, and that's not to say I'm going to pick this guy and he's always going to be my chief technical analyst forever. If what he's saying doesn't work out, you know, you go to someone else. It's as simple as that. But like I'm saying, like you have basically an investment team like this at your disposal for free. But again, the key is you have to know what you're talking about. Like you have to be able to assess these people, because there's no way I can be a technical analysis as good as this guy and be an economist as good as somebody else. And it's just, you don't have enough time, right? But you have to be smart enough to know who's good, who isn't, who to take the advice from. So you can assemble this little team for yourself, right? But like when you look at these people here, like, okay, it'll have like Global Credit. Like this guy is a senior portfolio manager of Global Credit. Like I don't think, unless you're really, really rich, that you're going to start getting into the credit market. You might, you know, like I'm not going to say you should or you shouldn't. And this guy's like real estate. This guy's director of infrastructure. Like a director of infrastructure, that would be stuff like he invests in like huge projects. You know what I mean? Again, this is for high net worth people. Real estate, these guys probably invest in stuff like, you know, shopping malls, skyscrapers, you know, stuff like that. Global, again, another person with Global Credit. They're the people that issue, you know, like she would probably look into buying bonds and of, you know, other countries, but then they have to, you know, factor in hedging, you know, currency fluctuations and all. That's what somebody like that would do. Director of equities and credit, you know what I mean? Responsible investing. This person probably does like all those ethical things, like things that aren't harmful to the environment and all that sort of stuff, right? So, you know, public equities, you know, private equity. So private equity would be stuff like that's not on the stock exchange. Like it's stuff like between two counterparties. He probably specializes in like some of these deals actually can be pretty big, but they're usually like syndicated deals where, like, again, somebody wants to buy a skyscraper or something like that. They need, you know, $300 million. You know, they work out a deal to get like 20 investors in on it. And then, you know, they issue some sort of a bond and they're paid back, that sort of a thing. Or it could be a business, like somebody starting a company, or they want to expand on a company. They're not going to go to the bond market, the equity market per se. So they do, it's called private equity. Like they'll just go out and, again, get a group of investors to loan the money directly. So there's no middleman, sort of a thing. Like that's what private equity is. It's like anything that's not on an exchange, right? Like a stock that's not on an exchange. So anyway, so you have all these people, and I'm not saying these people aren't smart or anything, but I'm just saying that, like, they know what they're doing, but you don't need these guys. And I honestly believe that. Like, okay, maybe if you're billionaire, like say you got a net worth of $300-400 million, okay, I would hand that off to the pros. You know what I mean? Like, because just something like a currency fluctuation can totally decimate you, you know? So these people, yeah, you know, like whatever, like, you know, see, okay, just look at his credentials here. Okay, Angus holds an MBA from U of T and a Bachelor of Applied Science in Mining Engineering from Queen's University. He is a CFA charter holder and a professional engineer. So like I'm saying, these people usually have like some hard-hitting credentials. Like the guy's an engineer and a CFA charter holder. CFA, I don't know if you know what that is. That's a very difficult designation to get in the world of finance. It's basically like I don't know if I want to call it a doctor of like finance, but it's very close. Like all those companies, like, you know, Goldman Sachs and you know, all those big Wall Street companies usually require that you have a CFA. That's what a portfolio manager needs. In order for you to be a portfolio manager, you have to be a CFA charter holder. That's one of the requirements. So again, we'll just look at all these guys here. Again, Nick holds a Master of Economics from Western, a BA in Economics from Wilfrid Laurier. He is a CFA charter holder. Again, CFAs, it's a very difficult designation to get. I would imagine most of them are CFA charter holders. Again, Mary has an MBA from University of British Columbia, BA Economics from Western. She is a CFA charter holder, right? So again, it's just you're starting to see a pattern here. These are all highly qualified people, so on and so forth. Okay, Robert holds a PhD in finance from the University of Toronto and a master's degree in economics from Simon Fraser. Okay, so you can just go down the list. They're all smart people. I'm not criticizing them, but I'm saying, but can you afford them? That's the question, right? So yeah, this guy's CFA charter holder. That's the gold standard, I would say, pretty much in finance, is to have the CFA. Yeah, see, this guy's a CFA charter holder. They're all smart. And again, I'm not hating on these guys. Like they're smart people. Yeah, this guy here, like Bachelor of Administration from Acadia. He is a CFA charter holder and a chartered professional accountant. So this guy's an accountant and a CFA charter holder. So they're all smart people. But again, you don't need them. And I'm being just totally serious. You don't need them. So like I said, and again, I'm talking about if you just have small amounts of money. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to point this guy as my technical analyst. And I will be on the hunt for an economist, right? And I'm just going to do it from YouTube. And I'm just going to show you like how I do this, right? But I'm probably going to wind up with 2 technical analysts. I might be getting this other guy down here, this guy, maybe. But it's going to be him. It's between him and another guy. I don't know if I want to point this guy. But I'll check it out. I'm going to go over this for a while. But certainly this guy is going to be one of the technical analysts. And then I'm going to probably point 2 economists that we will listen to, and I will chart them. So going forward, we're going to have it's going to be run like a little, investment firm. But again, I'm just trying to illustrate that you can do this yourself. And I'm not even saying you have to know everything. You have people at your disposal who are essentially working for nothing. All you got to do is give them a thumbs up, subscribe to them, and that's their pay. It's pretty amazing when you really stop and think of it. And people could say, well, these guys aren't experts. Well, I don't know. Again, go by a track record. Go by their track record. Analyze these people. Get an Excel spreadsheet. Measure their performance. That's what these guys do. Like when you think these guys just do whatever they want, whoever's running this company is gonna analyze each one of these people. Like they're gonna say to, okay, okay, let's look at this guy. Okay, you're in private equity. Okay. And they have what's known as a benchmark. They're going to say, okay, the benchmark private equity threshold was this. You are below it. If you're consistently below it, they're going to let you go. But if you're consistently, above it, that's how you get promoted. That's how you stick around, right? And I'm not saying this guy is I'm just saying, just for example, right? Like they're going to look at every single one of these people. And they're going to analyze them. And that's what I'm saying. You have to put together a team and you have to measure their performance. That's what you have to do, right? And it's as simple as that. And living in this world where we get all this information at your disposal is just incredible. Again, I just want to illustrate the fact that you don't need a lot of money and you don't need to know everything yourself. Rely on other people's knowledge. Rely on what I mean? But it has to be obviously valid knowledge. You can't just go around like, oh, okay, this guy's on YouTube, I believe every single thing he says. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying measure them, measure their performance, listen to what this guy has to say. Because I'll tell you right now, if you think these people here never make mistakes, you're sadly mistaken. I remember one time I had a meeting with a CFA charter holder he was hired by the oil companies, because I used to work in Calgary too as an advisor. And he was hired by major oil companies. Like I'm talking the biggest oil companies in Calgary for real estate, because they're going to buy office space and all that. And oil was like $148 a barrel or something like that. I can't remember. It was like right near the peak. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna, he goes, I just gave the go ahead to build $1 billion skyscraper. I guess he was the final guy because he was allegedly an expert in real estate. I said, you did what? He said, yeah, I did all the analysis and yada, yada, yada. I swear to God, I wish I would have had this recorded, because when you think that people like this make no mistakes, you are sadly mistaken, because they do. And when they make mistakes, they're usually very large mistakes. So I'm sitting here talking to this guy, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Oil's at its peak. Like, it's never been this high. At the time, it was like at a record amount. And you're advising an oil company to buy $1 billion building. He's like, that's right. Okay, you don't do that at a peak, because it could go down. What are you going to do when it goes down? And he's like, he was showing me these charts. He had it like in a little portfolio. He's like, look at this. We're at peak. Peak oil. They kept saying peak oil. Oil will never go down again. It's impossible. I'm like, are you sure about that? Oh yeah, I'm 100%. I'm a CFA charter holder. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I kid you not. 3 months later, oil started going down. You know, that building that this guy advised on, because I keep an eye on it, I think it's like 85% empty, and it has been since about 2010. They built $1 billion building that essentially nobody's in it. And if you think I'm exaggerating, all you have to do is go to Calgary. I'm going to say commercial real estate. Okay, now let's look at news. Calgary CRE sales skid to a 10-year low, despite a mild rally in the multifamily sector, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, if you look at it, see, Fitch downgrades 3 classes of IMSA, whatever, revises one outlook. Formation. Anyways, if you do your research on Calgary real estate, it is being decimated. Like on their commercial side, you know, skyscrapers and whatnot, they are getting smoked. And I was telling him that. I'm like, why are you advising them to build something? And he's like, hey, don't question me. I'm a CFA charter holder. Like, as if he can see the future. Like, my point is, like, again, you got to take these people's opinions to a certain degree, but then you got to at the end of the day, you got to make the decision, right? But listen to these people. Do they make sense? You know, does this sound right to you? Because if it doesn't, you know, like, it just, you can't, like, I can't explain it, but you can't totally rely on them. But at the same time, you can't, you know, dismiss them. Like, it's just one of those things. But anyways, that's my rant for today. Anyway, so again, I'm going to be assembling a little team with people from YouTube, and I'll just show you. I'll show you how I do it. And we'll just take it from there, okay? So, again, I'm going to be on tomorrow doing my buys and all that. But I just wanted to prep you on how it's going to change the format, okay? Well, have a great day.